A 47-page Senate report just dropped, and it proves the Biden administration ordered our major airports turned into shelters for illegals on our dime, breaking the rules and making flying less safe.
The administration allegedly pressured airports to house migrants despite warnings it could compromise safety and put travelers at risk. That, according to a new bombshell Senate report that says the Biden administration directed federal agencies to find airport facilities that could be used as shelters or migrant processing facilities. At least 11 airports were allegedly asked to find space, including Chicago's O Hare and JFK here in New York.
Once you see the actual emails and memos, you'll never look at an airport the same way again. This isn't just spin. These are documents straight from the FAA and the DOT. So here's exactly what happened. Back in 2023, under Biden, the White House started leaning hard on the Department of Transportation. Not a suggestion. It was a direct order to find space at America's airports for illegals. Terminals, hangars, shuttle buildings, anything that wasn't being used for planes. They told the FAA to inventory every spare room at federally funded airports and make it happen, even if it meant breaking the rules. And this was all while the Biden administration kept telling us the border wasn't a problem. One FAA official wrote to Boston Logan Airport in October 2023, and he said, quote, "We have received a request from the White House." And this was an immediate ask, and it said, "Please prioritize." So a DOT staffer saw the same email and replied, "Yikes, this is definitely Fox News fodder in the making." So the whole time, they knew it was going to look bad, but they did it anyway. Boston Logan pushed back hard. They said, "We are not designed or resourced to manage populations for illegals," and that this would create a host of unintended safety and security consequences. But it didn't matter. Boston Logan still ended up with 352 illegals sleeping overnight in Terminal E. And this whole thing cost the American taxpayers almost $800,000. And that was for security, cleaning, and transport of these illegals. In Chicago, O Hare was worse. 900 illegals crammed into a shuttle terminal, and it ended up with 329 police calls and 26 arrests. The city even admitted that they weren't confined. They were able to wander around the airport. And then there was the JFK. An Ecuadorian illegal runs past security, makes it all the way to the runway with a box cutter and scissors in his pocket. That actually happened. The FAA knew the rules. Federally funded space is for aviation only. And the report says that they ignored the requirements most of the time. And this wasn't some rogue official. It went straight to the top. The White House, the DOT, the FAA, even bus safety and transit agencies were told to move illegals around with federal cash. Hundreds of air marshals got pulled off planes and sent to the border, and this all happened since 2021. The report called it a dangerous diversion. Elite sky cops trained for hijackings were reassigned for hospital sits, welfare checks, and babysitting illegals. And this cost us $45 million in overtime alone. Just overtime. Flights went unprotected, and this was during the worst air rage spike ever. No marshals on board when passengers were stabbing each other or trying to open doors mid-flight. Do you guys remember that? Now we know why. Airports got turned into shelters for illegals. And every step of the way, people inside the system tried to raise alarms that nobody in charge wanted to even hear. Ted Cruz said it best yesterday. He said, "The Biden administration turned our airports into processing centers for illegals at the taxpayer expense. And they did it all the while knowing that it made flying less safe." I'm just telling you what the report says, what the emails say, what the airports warned would happen, and it did. So next time you're waiting at the gate, look around you. That terminal wasn't built to be a shelter for illegals, but for a while, it was. And that's the truth. That's exactly what happened, and this is why it matters. That's it for today, folks. Like, subscribe, and share. It really does help the channel grow. And remember to stay strong. And as always, keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you next time.